First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The dive team members found some human bones earlier today. At this point, just based on the totality of the investigation, we do believe that the remains are those of Hannah Brim.
The case of a woman who has been missing for 8 months is finally receiving answers. New information tonight in the disappearance of 23-year-old Hannah Brim. Good evening, I'm Stephanie Byrne.
And I'm Ryan Nelson. Thanks for joining us. Law enforcement officials believe they have finally found her remains. WUFT's Sydney Martin joins us now. Sydney, you attended the press conference earlier this afternoon. What did you find out?
So law enforcement officials actually said that the remains were found just 2.5 miles northwest of Orange Heights, an area that they had conducted multiple searches on in the past year. Now officials are describing the area as swampy and near railroad tracks, even going on to say it's not very accessible.
Once word reached the search area and the command post that Brim had been discovered, there was officers that knelt in prayer and in thanks that we finally have located Hannah.
23-year-old Hannah Brim disappeared back on January 19th, and investigators say they might finally have a resolution for her family. Today, officials say they think they have finally recovered her remains. The area where the bones were found was described as remote. This comes after Tobias described prior searches as multiple and exhaustive. On September 14th, Brim's ex-boyfriend Nelson Armas was indicted on first-degree murder charges in the case, but officials could not say today if he led them to the remains. Police officers initially said that Armas wasn't talking and couldn't say if that had changed.
I'm not sure of Mr. Armas's inclusion into this. From what I understand, everything has kind of been status quo as far as his cooperation goes.
The condition of the bones or cause of death could also not be confirmed.
No, unfortunately, these are human bones that have been found, and so it's going to take some time for the medical examiner and the experts at the C.A. Pound laboratory to determine that.
Now, Brim's family was notified earlier today of the discovery. They shared their sincere thanks to anyone who helped in some way in the search for their daughter. Now, funeral arrangements have not been made yet.
Thank you, Sydney. The University of Florida has had the tough task of replacing a longtime successful athletic director.
And with Jeremy Foley stepping down, Florida has been on the hunt for the next man up. We bring in WUFT sports reporter Ben Murphy, who has the latest details on the University of Florida's newest athletic director, Scott Strickland. Ben?
Okay, so imagine being in charge of every sport at your alma mater. That's the gig Scott Strickland has had at Mississippi State over the last 5 years. You would think it would take a lot to get the 2015-2016 Under Armour Athletic Director of the Year away from his own school, but that just shows you how special this Florida job is. Scott Strickland made his way to the Sunshine State today and addressed his new home for the first time.
You know, there may be 2 or 3 jobs in the country I might be interested in leaving Mississippi State for. And those jobs may never call, and that's okay, because I've got a good deal. And then this job came up. And going through this process, it became obvious to me that there's really only one job I'd leave Mississippi State for, and that is to be a Florida Gator.
Jeremy Foley likes the new hire, too. You'll hear from him later in the show, but for now, at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, reporting live, Ben Murphy, WUFT Sports.
Thank you, Ben. Hurricane hunters flew into a tropical wave today to see if a storm has formed.
WUFT's Lee Southwick joins us in tonight's first forecast with the latest.
So the storm has not formed yet. It is expected to be a depression or a tropical storm by later tonight or tomorrow morning. But right now, this is the satellite image of our storm, and it doesn't have a defined center of circulation yet. So here are where the models are taking it, because it does have a 90% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 48 hours. So we can see it's heading west, but after this, the uncertainty is too much to decide where that storm is going to head after. But for right now, I am tracking some storms on radar. We do have a cell just southeast of Cross City as well as south of Williston. So there may be some heavy downpours associated with this. Do stay inside if at all possible. For your hour by hour this evening, though, right around 6 p.m., we're going to be at 84 degrees, dropping down to 76 degrees right around 10 p.m. And then we're going to cool off down to about 70 degrees right around 6 a.m. These rain chances are staying low. However, we can expect some higher rain chances to come into the forecast tomorrow afternoon due to a cold front that is approaching, and that will also bring us some fall-like weather. So we can look forward to that by the end of this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Lee. The State Fire Marshal's office is looking into a Jonesville apartment fire that left one person dead. Alachua County Fire Rescue responded to the fire yesterday evening. Deputies pulled the woman from the building. She later died at North Florida Regional Medical Center. The fire marshal says the cause of the fire is still unknown.
The Gainesville Police Department has increased the reward for information leading to an arrest in the murder of Antonio Mason. The reward is now $8,000. It was previously $3,000. Mason was shot in July while holding his 11-month-old daughter. His daughter and another adult were injured. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 352-372-STOP.
Well, the big debate last night leads to a more fundamental question. Are you registered to vote? Today is National Voter Registration Day, and many colleges and universities were hosting registration drives. One student we met at Santa Fe College says she is honored to be able to vote in this upcoming election.
I'm half Latin, so knowing that some of the international students can't vote when they actually want to vote more than Americans, and knowing as a girl, not being able to vote 97 years ago, which was just my great-grandparents were not able to vote, and how that has changed, and in that time how a lot has changed, but also how so little has changed. So
now we'll have much more on the presidential debate later in this newscast. And by the way, if you haven't registered to vote just yet, the deadline is October 11th.
Another synthetic drug has hit the streets in Florida and is killing people who take it.
And State Attorney General Pam Bondi is making sure people know how dangerous this drug is. WUFT's Alexa Lytle joins us now from the newsroom. Alexa, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that officials held a press conference in Marion County today to make this new drug illegal. The drug is said to be 7.5 times more powerful than morphine and is quickly spreading across our nation. A new drug is on the streets, and it's known as drug U47-700. Today, Attorney General Pam Bondi made it illegal. The drug is rapidly spreading across north central Florida. It is a pain medication that is being used for cutting other drugs and mixing them together, and it is being sold disguised as a Xanax pill.
It's coming in a pill form now, so they don't know what they're taking. So that's why it's more important than ever. Please, please stop buying these drugs on the street. If you think it's a pill, if you think it's Xanax, if you think it's some mild sedative, it's not. It could be extremely lethal and kill you.
There have been 5 deaths in Pinellas County that have been caused by U47-700 found in Xanax pills. This is not a prescription drug, and there is no legitimate reason why people would be taking it. Throughout Florida, the drug has been mostly seen in pills, but it can take other forms as well.
Like most of these synthetics, we'll continue to do our drug investigations, talk to our sources, talk to our medical examiners community and our medical community, because again, what they see in the ERs oftentimes is indicative of what we're seeing in the community. So we work with those partners, and once we see that type of drug, then we'll put more of a concentrated effort on it.
Now U47-700 is becoming popular in other parts of the country too. Places such as Ohio, Georgia, and Wyoming have passed emergency orders to make it illegal. And now that it is illegal, this will help law enforcement officers be on the lookout. Officials say not only is U47-700 found in a powder form, it is also found in a nasal spray. And for those caught with U47-700, it is a third-degree felony that carries a prison sentence of up to 5 years. This is the 137th drug Pam Bondi has written an emergency order for. She says her goal is to continue to protect Floridians from synthetic drugs. Reporting from the newsroom, Alexa Lytle, WUFT News.
Thank you, Alexa. It's a popular children's food now being recalled. Tyson is recalling about 132,000 pounds of chicken nuggets. It's because they could be contaminated with hard plastic. That recall includes 5-pound bags of Tyson fully cooked panko chicken nuggets. They have a best if used by date of July 18th, 2017. It also includes 20-pound bulk packages containing spare time fully cooked panko chicken nuggets, nugget-shaped chicken breasts, patty fritters with rib meat. If you have one of the affected packages, you're advised to throw it away or return it to the store. We found bomb squad robots at another school campus today.
But don't worry, it wasn't a bomb scare, but it was a thrill for kids studying robots to see some real-world models in action. WUFT's Savannah Collins joins us from the newsroom with the story.
Fortunately, ASO's bomb squad doesn't get called out too often, only about twice a month, so they can work in a few demonstrations. Today at Hidden Oak Elementary School, there were no bombs, just kids bursting at the seams to learn.
You think you can do this? You think you can do it? You're raising your hand.
Fifth grade students at Hidden Oak Elementary are used to tinkering with robots, but not ones this big. Today, the sheriff's bomb squad rolled out the robots they use to handle suspicious devices.
We go everywhere. It doesn't matter. We've had them on city buses. We've had them in parks. We've had them at buildings. We've had them in lockers.
The students are in the process of building robots of their own in the school robotics program. The differences between the students' robots and the bomb squad's aren't as great as you would think.
Because I'll tell you right now, we have problems with our robot too. Stuff happens.
They both move, lift, and pick things up. The squads are just a little more advanced.
That is so cool. That could really pick me up.
Elementary school students in Alachua County get to spend an hour in the robotics lab every week. These are the kits they use to assemble their robots, and here they are, the work in progress.
The student teams are scored by how well their robots can manipulate their targets, but the students are learning about more than just mechanical components.
Because it's that sense of feeling good about themselves. It's a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of I can do this and I can be a better person because I can work together with a team and build this robot.
Some will get to put their robots to the test in county competitions.
I think it's great that they let children have this kind of technology, because when I was growing up, this technology wasn't there for us as children.
Thinks he can handle.
Good introduction to technology and practice with hands-on learning. And if the work sparks a dream of a career, it's not just in the bomb squad. Robot design can involve everything from toys to medicine, manufacturing, and rocket science. Savannah Collins, WUFT News.
Thank you, Savannah. WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started.
Coming up, the first presidential debate wrapped up last night. We'll tell you how voters in Gainesville reacted.
Best 97 and tell you about a cold front that is approaching, bringing more fall-like weather.